The book Ascension of Isaiah is a pseudegraphical Christian text. Theories as to the date of its composition place it in a range from the late 1st century AD to the beginning of the 3rd century AD. As for its authorship, it is believed almost universally to be a compilation of several texts completed by an unknown Christian scribe. Dating of the text. It is generally believed that the text is composed of 3 different sections written at different times by different authors. The earliest section, regarding chapters 313 to 422, was composed at about the end of the 1st century AD, or perhaps early 2nd century, and is believed to be a text of Jewish origins which was later on redacted by Christian scribes. The date of the vision of Isaiah is rather more difficult to determine, but it is no older than the 3rd century, since Jerome cites a fragment of the work in some of his writings. But from internal evidence it seems that the text is to be placed before the end of the 2nd century AD. The whole work was on a later date assembled as Kinib writes. It is not known when exactly the 3 sections of the Ascension were combined. The Greek fragment, the palimpsest giving the text of the fragments of the first Latin translation, and the Ethiopic translation all presuppose the existence of the complete work, but the character of the mistakes in the Greek fragment and the Latin palimpsest suggests that the complete work had already been in existence for some time when these manuscripts were copied. It thus seems likely that the 3 sections of the Ascension were brought together in the 3rd or 4th century AD, and this is confirmed by the fact that Jerome seems to have known the complete book. It is possible that there were 2 stages in the process. First, the combination of 313 to 422 with the martyrdom, and second, the combination of the enlarged martyrdom with the vision. Nib thus dates the whole text as being written between AD 150 and 200 but assembled at a later time. Richard Carrier gives an earlier possible date of the 1st or 2nd century, though extant manuscripts date from the 5th to the 12th century. All the evidence we have for this text and within it indicates it was originally composed sometime in the 1st or 2nd century CE. The earliest version, in fact, was probably composed around the very same time as the earliest canonical Gospels were being written. Content. The book has 3 main sections. The first part of the book, generally referred to as the Martyrdom of Isaiah, recounts and expands on the events of 2 Kings chapter 21. Isaiah warns the dying Hezekiah that his heir, Manasseh, will not follow the same path. When Manasseh takes over, and Isaiah's warning proves true, Isaiah and a group of fellow prophets head into the desert, and a demon named Beliar inspires a false prophet named Belkira to accuse Isaiah of treason. The king consequently condemns Isaiah to death, and although Isaiah hides in a tree, he is found, and Belkira leads the execution. Into the middle of this is a Christian apocalypse called the Testament of Hezekiah, describing a vision of the coming of Jesus, the subsequent corruption of the Christian church, the rule of Beliar, and the second coming, all of which is phrased in such a way that it is clearly a code for the persecution of the church by Nero, and the belief that Nero was an antichrist. The second part of the book is referred to as the Vision of Isaiah and describes an angel-assisted journey, prior to the events of the first part of the book, by Isaiah through the 7 heavens. In its surviving form it is clearly written from a Christian perspective, concentrating on Jesus' death and his resurrection, and especially the ascension of Jesus. The birth of Jesus is curiously described as being preceded by Jesus descending through each of the heavens, disguising himself himself as an angel appropriate to each as he goes. The extant complete manuscripts of the Ascension of Isaiah include a brief account of Jesus' nativity, birth, and crucifixion. However, according to Jonathan Knight, the problem with chapter 11 is that these traditions are found in only one branch of the textual tradition, that represented by the Ethiopic translation. The Slavonic and one of the two Latin translations replace them with a short summary of the earthly appearance so that their authenticity, including the Marian material, is disputed. Elements of the Ascension of Isaiah are paralleled in other Jewish and Christian writings. The method of Isaiah's death is agreed upon by both the Babylonian Talmud and Jerusalem Talmud, and is probably alluded to by the writer of the Epistle to the Hebrews. The demon Beliar appears in quite a number of apocryphal works, including the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Enoch, the Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs, and the Sibylline books. Finally, Isaiah's journey through the 7 heavens parallels that of Enoch's in the second book of Enoch. The first section of the text also contains hostility toward the Samaritans, a Jewish sect that claimed to be Jews left behind during the Babylonian exile, disowned by the remainder. Demons. Theological demons noted in the text are: Belial is the angel of lawlessness and is also identified as Samael and Satan, and Manasseh turned aside his heart to serve Belial, for the angel of lawlessness, who is the ruler of this world, is Belial, whose name is Metanbicus. Samael is identified in the vision that Isaiah experienced, wherein he ascended to the firmament and notes, "There I saw Samael and his hosts, and there was great fighting therein." As above so on the earth, or also, for the likeness of that which is in the firmament is here on the earth. Samael is also often identified as Malkira, which are all epithets of the false prophet sent by Belial to accuse Isaiah of treason. Theories. According to the theory of R. H. Charles, the text incorporates 3 distinct sections, each one a separate work that is a single compilation here. Of these, 1, the first, appears to have been written by a Jewish author, and the other 2 by Christians. According to this author, the martyrdom consists of I. 1-2a, 6b, 13a, 1e, 12v, 1b-14, ch, 13biv, 18 are to be counted as a separate work, added by the first editor of the entire work, probably before the Greek legend and the Latin translation were written. The vision comprises ch. vi, 1 she, 40 ch. she, 2-22 being thus an integral part of this section. Editorial additions are ch. I 2b6a 13be 9e 13a iv 1 19-22 v 1 15-16 she 41-43. E. Norelli suggests on the contrary that the whole text, even if written in different times, is the expression of a Docetic Christian prophetic group related with the group attacked by Ignatius of Antioch in his letters to the Smyrnians and to the Trallians. According with this scholar, chapters 6-11 are older than chapters 1-5. The date of composition is the end of the 1st century AD, and the narrative of Mary's pregnancy is independent from the Gospel of Matthew. Manuscript tradition. The text exists as a whole in 3 Ethiopic manuscripts of around the 15th–18th centuries, but fragments have also survived in Greek, Coptic, Latin, and Old Church Slavonic. All 3 component texts appear to have been in Greek, and it is possible that the martyrdom of Isaiah derives from a Hebrew or Aramaic original. Comparison of the various translations suggests that 2 different recensions of the Greek original must have existed, one on which the Ethiopic and one of the Latin versions was based, and the other on which the Slavonic and the other Latin version was based. Fragments of both Greek versions have survived. The work's current title is derived from the title used in the Ethiopic manuscripts. In antiquity, Epiphanius also referred to it by this title, as did Jerome.